Good morning. Welcome to our in-person and live stream service for Sunday, July 25th, 2021. From those of us who have gathered here in person to those of you viewing online, we send our warmest greetings and gratitude that you chose Unity of Wimberley to spend this sacred time with. As we begin from the beginning, long before we were born, let us settle into the truth that is the heart of God. We long for what is already ours in every single moment. Today, let us talk about this holy journey we are on with our deepest selves and with each other, and affirm that we have already arrived. And now let us welcome our amazing musicians in the house with us today, Julie Reagans, Curtis Bringle, Jeff Stockey, and Masumi Jones, as we sing together. If you'd care to stand up as we sing.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. Please join me as we affirm our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And now let us unite our spirits as we hold this vision for our church. We are an open-hearted spiritual community, powerfully transforming our world by honoring the sacred in all. And we practice this mission. Inspired by our shared spiritual awakening, we offer practical teachings that empower healthy, abundant, and meaningful living. And now, with our daily word reading and gathering prayer, Jan Govain.
Good morning, all you gorgeous godlings. So happy to be here again today. Today's daily word for Sunday is journey. And the affirmation is, my life's journey begins and ends in the heart of God. I feel excitement at the beginning of a journey, thinking about the adventures, the beautiful sights, and the fascinating people I will find at my journey's end. Even as I look forward to reaching my destination, however, I remain alert, open to the adventures and insights that await discovery along the way. My faith tells me that my spiritual journey began in the heart of God, long before my human birth. In childhood, I looked outward, longing for the adventures that would become waypoints on my journey to maturity. Now I journey inward, longing for the spiritual home I never really left. I am learning that even the most ordinary day can become an opportunity to realize that the heart of God is present everywhere. And from Psalms 121:8, the Lord will keep you going out, and you're coming in from this time on and forevermore. So now if you will join me for our gathering prayer. This phrase came to me, love is the movement of life. And I've been thinking about that since I knew today was going to be my turn to be chaplain. And I thought the truth is that love is a journey. It's always been a journey because we have to move. We always have to move. Nothing is static. So I'm so happy to be speaking about the journey today and our lovely minister here speaking on this topic today as well. So let's take a deep breath together. Uniting our spirits and our hearts, I know that I am entering into my inner sanctuary of God's wisdom. I know and feel the presence of divine love expressing everywhere in the universe. I know there is a power for good, which is responding to me and is bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfolding love, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. As I know this in myself, I know it for all beings, as there is only one mind, the mind of God. The one eternal and perfect life journey is one of unconditional, unlimited love and creativity, power and harmony expressed through each of us as we open our minds, hearts, and spirits to this good. I recognize now this life flowing through us, circulating in us. We are one with its rhythm. Our hearts beat with the pulse of the universe in serenity, in peace, and in joy. All are animated by the divine spirit. No one anywhere can separate us from carrying and expressing this beloved wherever we go. There was no beginning, and there is no end. As our thoughts are always creative, they fill our minds with an endless stream of fresh, clean, reinvigorating ideas of life, which call us to our perfect expression as God. I now accept myself as the outlet of the infinite, unconditional, eternal love. I joyously respond to this fresh life, and it joyously responds to me. Our minds are cleansed and are surrounded, upheld, and maintained by this divine, all-loving presence of life, into which I release this word with gratitude overflowing, knowing that God's immutable law of good has already manifested these ideas, and so it is. Amen.
Far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say that I've been sailing all my life
Thank you, band. Thank you so much. Did y'all recognize that old song, that old tune? That was wonderful. Thank you. We have a special message this morning from our Board of Trustees President, your friend Chip Slade. Come on up, Chip.
I love you and I hate you mask. Yeah. Most of you probably saw that I had a post on the Facebook resource page this week stating that the board had decided that it was necessary for us to go back to taking a position where we ask each of you to wear masks in the church. And I think I didn't give as much background on how we got to that decision. I spent a lot of time talking to you about how much I respected the board and the way everybody approaches these decisions. So I thought today maybe I'd give you just a real quick, I hope it's quick, update and give you a few points that we considered. You know, for too long in this pandemic, the majority of our board meetings have been taken up by talking about this COVID problem that we've got. And last Monday, we probably went over an hour and a half just talking about the situation and where are we on with being fully open or not fully open and what are we going to do and all that. And I actually came to that board meeting thinking I was going to convince the board to expand our seating to about 85 and we were really moving on. But as we continued that discussion through the week, some things came to light that let me know I wasn't really thinking in the right direction. You know, love's behind all this, and we love this church and we have to take care of it, and we love you and we want to take care of you, and we want us to all take care of each other, and that's what's at the basis of this whole thing. But as we went through the week, we started off knowing in the meeting that Austin had just gone to stage 3, and we're expecting 4, and lo, they did on Thursday. And you know, stage 4 says if you're fully vaccinated, go to church, go to your meetings indoors, wear a mask. But importantly, it also says if you're not fully vaccinated or if you have other risk factors, then you need to think about it before you go masked or unmasked. So we had that going. We knew that Monday mostly with going through the week. We read reports that beds in hospitals and ICU beds were starting to approach critical levels again. We haven't seen that in a long time. It wouldn't be that way if we weren't 43% vaccinated in Texas. Let me just put that in there. So if you haven't, think about it again. This new thing is causing breakthrough infections. I spoke to, and I've talked to a couple other people who've heard the same thing from their doctors. One lady said her doctor has 9 fully vaccinated patients currently with COVID, and 2 of them are in the hospital. I'm pretty sure those are this Delta variant too, which is the thing that has us all so concerned. And you may or may not be aware that we had a member of the church, was this last week? Yeah. Who had a reservation for Sunday and canceled it. And they canceled it because they found out in advance that they had been exposed. Before any symptoms occurred, before any testing that came back positive was done, that person took the right decision and canceled a reservation and stayed home. And boy, do we appreciate that. Whoever you are, I don't know your name, but we are praying for you to have a mild case and a quick recovery. And I guess the key thing that has shifted, in my opinion, because I was that guy saying, yeah, man, Wimberley, it's not Austin, you know, we're out here in the hinterlands, there's not a bunch of that stuff going on out here. I think I said some of that in the board meeting. Yes. And so as we went through the week, you know, all of us were doing this. We were all reading and looking at articles and passing things back and forth. But the thing that did it for me was the CDC information. And, you know, they break it down by state, by county, and all that stuff. And so I looked at Travis and I looked at Hayes. And the shocking thing is that, you know, when we decided to come back inside in June, the average cases in Hayes County were under 10, almost consistently, and there were some days with 0 cases, and the same in Travis County. Well, somewhere around July the 1st, that has changed and started going the other direction. And one of the things that's on there is a 7-day average. In Hays County right now, that 10 cases that used to be the average is now 52 as of Thursday. And over the last 8 days, that average growth day to day has been 67% higher than the day before. And the other, Thursday was the last day that was reported, and there were 92 cases. So this thing is taking off again, and it's better for us to be safe. And that's why we have come here to say, would you please take care of each other and wear your mask? And if you are one of those people who, for any reason under the sun, can't be vaccinated, take care of yourself and take advantage of our online presentation and still participate with this church. We will get through this. This is divine order, and we know we're doing the right thing. And if you'll join me, we will get through it. I love you.
We're with you.
And I really appreciate Chip standing up here to do this today, because he'd rather poke needles in his eyes than stand up here on the platform. And so I know what it took for you to do this, Chip. And I appreciate the clarity and the sincerity and the factual nature of your presentation today. I just want to add to that our friend who canceled last weekend actually did get pretty ill, lost sense of smell and taste, and is now on the road to recovery and doing well, but was very surprised what happened. And that anecdote brings it pretty close to home. So, you know, there's a thing that Jesus said, something along the lines of, that which you do to the least of us, you do unto me. So if we consider in this scenario the least of us to be those who are vulnerable because they can't get vaccinated, those who choose not to get vaccinated, there's a vulnerability there too, in mind and body. And so we're doing everything that we can to look out for each other, because in a country based on rugged individualism, you know, that which brought us from other countries to live here free, it took that for us to live here. And in the scope of history, that hasn't been that long ago. And so we want to make sure that we are balancing rugged individualism with a maturity in our spiritual orientation toward looking out for others. And so I think you're about that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting in these chairs. So thank you. Thank you all. And thanks for being here today. You know, thank you that for, 60 minutes or 60 minutes and 15 extra, 20 extra, that you're willing to put a face covering on. Thank you. What a week it's been. Was not happy to have to reverse course, in a sense, at the very least, to have to create a different protocol yet again. We'd rather not. You know, our church has weathered this. Financially, it's been difficult. I'll just say that to you. I want to be very transparent with you about that. Any of our board members are happy to help you access our financial records, which are open. And I think we've talked to you before that our payroll protection program from the SBA, from which we received 2 different grants during the last year, which were forgiven because we used them the way we were supposed to. Those 2 grants got us through. However, we are running low because for many people, not being in the building meant not having church, meant not supporting church. And it's important that we continue to support this place no matter what, so that we can continue to do what we're doing. We have not only ourselves to look after here, but we have a legacy. We have a legacy to our children and their children and all the people who are finding us. They found us online. They found us because they've moved into the area. And so we have a legacy that we are continuing. It's not like, boom, Unity of Wimberley has established its legacy. That's an ongoing thing. This church is an organism, and the organism needs to have nourishment, just like your organism needs to have nourishment. So just leaving you with that too. The only reason I don't wear a mask and sit up here is because I can't wear a mask with my glasses and my microphone. It's just too, it's like getting your necklaces tangled up, and you women know what I'm talking about. So the thing that's important for us to remember during this is the long, long span of things. It's what our daily word is about today. It's some scripture I'm going to share with you in a moment. But we are not used to living in survival mode. That is not something that modern day industrialized nation, developed nation people have to do. But we've had to do it. And then we had the added blessing of the snowpocalypse, in which we really were down to survival issues, weren't we? You know, food, shelter, heat, water, just the vital things for life. And we're not used to that. And I can't emphasize enough, you've heard me talk about it before, I've written about it in our newsletter articles. We're not used to it, therefore, we have unexpected responses to it. We have even unexpected reactions to it. There's a little bit of trauma involved in what we've experienced over the last year, and that's not even talking about the beloved ones that we've lost, either to COVID or to other things that took their lives when we couldn't go and grieve them in the ceremonies and the rituals and the things that we're used to in our grieving. Yeah, I feel so blessed that my dad was in a situation and my family was kind of, in a cell, if you will. And I don't mean like jail cell, I mean like organism cell, so that I could see my dad in those last days of his life and to be with him when he passed from this life. I know my daddy, he would have chafed had he been whole and well and able to go out there in the world. He wouldn't have liked this. He wouldn't have liked this at all. My dad's very, very social. And so I'm glad I got to be with him, but that's not the case for everybody. Stuart and I were just talking this morning about his new grandbaby. And he didn't get to hold baby James for 6 months. That's a long time not to get your hands on a grandchild. Yeah. So this requires us to look at our lives not just in its immediacy, but to step back every now and then and look at the whole span, to look at that great extension of our lives. That perspective for me has kept me grounded. It's kept me with a sense of perspective to live with the dailiness of life, is to look at how long I have been in the arms of God. That helps. Those of you that were here last week, you saw us bless Alicia, one of our youth program directors. And did you not already feel a soul kinship with that unborn child and her mother? So if you can imagine the way you felt seeing Alicia and her baby be blessed, multiply that times infinity, and that's how long and how much you've been loved. That's how long you've been loved. It's so important not to forget that. You were loved before you were born, and I'm not talking about sentimental love. I'm talking even beyond the bounds of love as we understand it as human beings. I'm talking about a love that is so pure it has nothing to cloud it. It's beyond really our understanding. It exceeds the bounds of our imagination. That's how much and how long we've been loved. So we tend to think of eternal life as that which goes on after we die. We sometimes don't think about eternal life as that which went on before we got here. Yes, your individuality is shaped, your personality is shaped by the body and the circumstances of your life. But before that, you are already a divine spark. You are already in the mind of God. You are already an element of the divine expressing itself. And lucky us, we got to put on a body and come here and do it. We got to come here so that we could eat things and drink things and have sex. Yay! We came here and we got to smell the outdoors. We got to listen to birdsong. And even if you were born without all of the senses that a human being has, there are compensations for it. I just may or may not have had a show on yesterday about women picking out their wedding dresses. I'm just saying. My brain just needed a little bit of a break, you know, and to watch a show that starts out with "say yes" is kind of good for you, you know. And I watched a blind bride pick out her wedding dress. So she was relying upon the way it felt to her hands and on her body. She was relying upon the descriptions of others. She was also relying upon that unseen, unheard thing in which she knew what felt right. Probably a more heightened sense of it than those of us with sight have. So we got to come here and be in this body, even when it is laborious to be in this body, even when it is laborious to live with human emotions and human failings and human everything that would trouble us. We have this great blessing of being here in this to experience life. And, you know, you've heard me say this before, but some people say that coming here is a punishment for something we did in a past life. Yeah, I don't buy that, really. Not at all, actually. I think it's like, wow, you have done so well that you get to come here now and be a human being. You get to live in the blue boat. You get to live here and experience all this stuff. And you are up to the task of loving your fellow human beings. How about that? You get the gift of all these other people. And guess what? They're going to teach you. Especially a certain part of them are going to teach you really, really well. Aren't they? And we don't get to pick and choose and say, you're my teacher, you're not my teacher, you're my teacher. All of y'all are not my teacher. Everybody's our teacher. And we're up to it. We're up to it. The masters have walked upon the earth showing us how that's done. Showing us how to go, that's interesting. Okay, let's hear what you have to say. You know, I love it, what we went through this week as a board. Oh, my Lord. I don't love it 100% of the time. But here is what is so beautiful, and I think I said this to y'all, board members, is that it would be boring if we all were in the same place all the time and just went, oh, yeah, okay, we all agree. No problem. I would be suspect if that were to happen. What is beautiful is that we all start in our own places with our own perspective, with our own thoughts, and we begin to move toward each other and have the difficult conversations and hold each other in respect and love and consider each other's words until we arrive at something that we can all agree upon, that we are not married to where we were when we started. Wow, what a blessing that is. Not easy, but always fulfilling. And that's what we're about in every transaction in our lives. If your name is Karen, I'm sorry that your name got picked to demonstrate, white women acting badly. But Karens teach us, don't they? So this is what we're doing. We're showing up here. We're saying, all right, life, what have you got today? And some days we've got our shoulders down and back and our chest is open and we've got our face to the light and we're saying, okay, life, come on. I'm ready for today. And other days it's like, okay, come on. But we have to welcome it because that's what we're here for. And I want to share with you how I know this is true. And I'm going to read this whole psalm because there is a piece of it that I've always left out. And I realized sometime in the shower this morning that this part is important. So this is Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light around me become night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. That I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. I love that. In your book were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed. How weighty to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. I try to count them. They are more than the sand. I come to the end. I am still with you. And listen carefully. Oh, that you would kill the wicked, O God, and that the bloodthirsty would depart from me. Those who speak of you maliciously and lift themselves up against you for evil. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. See if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. So I'm guessing you can guess which part of that I usually leave out. But it occurred to me that the bloodthirsty and the wicked are already here. The bloodthirsty and the wicked and those who would do evil are already my thoughts. So God, I'm just saying, take them from me. You alone can handle that. Wow, isn't that good that we don't have to battle forever with ourselves? Isn't it good that the malicious and the wicked? You see, my friends, those that we call malicious and wicked, they're just reflections of things that live in us sometimes. Yeah, sorry. It's the truth. My granny, my sweet granny, I'm wearing my granny's ring today. I need a granny with me today. My granny was one of the kindest, closest to God people I knew, especially in the last 10 or 15 years of her life. And she would do something or see something or, stub her toe or whatever, and she'd utter a profanity. And then she'd go, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that." Right after that, she'd go, "Oh," I'm not going to say it because, church. She would say something and she'd go, "Oh, I don't know why I said that." So she had this immediate, self-check system going on, self-monitoring, because it served her better and it served the Creator better for her not to linger there even for a moment. "Oh, I'm trying, Granny. I'm really, really trying, Granny." Because it's our tendency to grab hold of something that's yanking us away the other direction and just keep on following it. Because we get something out of it. We get a sense of justification, rationalization. We get a little juice from our adrenaline. And it's okay for a minute. But we can't stay there. We were wonderfully made. We were wonderfully made. Why would we not want to live in wonderfully made as much as we can? Now, this is not about the preacher standing up here telling you how to live. You figure it out. You figure it out. Most of you came out of churches where somebody told you how to do it. Said, "Here's your list of rules. Here you go. Do this, you'll go to heaven." But we've talked about this all this month. We graduated from that, and we stepped into the sometimes terrifying realm of self-actualization in God. That's what we decided to do. It's a little scary sometimes to have all that freedom. It's a lot easier to have somebody else tell you what the rules are so you can just follow the rules. But is that your truest self? It is for a lot of people. That's their best way to live. I see that in a lot, including members of my family, who are living kind and good lives because of that. But I notice that you're here and not at those churches. And so you have decided to take on the mantle of being in conscious partnership with God. Conscious partnership, that's a powerful position to take, but it's up to what David wrote about in the Psalms. You are known before you even got here. When you were still elements of the universe, you were already in the heart of God, and there you are today. And so when we get caught up with getting stuck where we are, and we have to be stuck where we are because we're living in two worlds. We're living in a very practical world, and we're living in the realm of spirit, and we try to marry those as often as we can. That's what those discussions were about this week. We're marrying those two positions. But it is important for us every now and then to step back and say, oh, yeah, I've been in God and God's been in me for a really, really long time, longer than I can even grasp. And that is where I will be forever. Even when I'm not in this Jill body, in that Chip body, in that Steve body, in that Judy body, we are in the heart of God. And it's important for us to hold on to that all the time. And so as you go through your week, with its aggravations and disappointments and blessings and times that you're laughing and times that you're crying, remember how long you have been known. And let that be a comfort and a perspective to you. I have to tell you that it's important for us in these times not to lose our sense of delight. It's God. 2 nights in a row, I've had encounters with little green frogs that live at my house. I've been told that the little green frogs are an indication that we have a really healthy ecosystem where I live. A few miles away, it's not like that, but have all these, so have you got them, Beverly? Yeah, little tiny wet green frogs, with these fingers. I don't think that's what they call it in frog language, but I'm going to call them little frog fingers. So one of them was on my son's shirt the other night. We always go out and do frog patrol when we take the dogs out. And this frog was on my son's shirt, and it was just kind of hopping around on his shirt, and then it leaped off of my son and onto my glasses. I'm like, well, dude, there you are. So I have a little short video clip if you want to see it sometime. And then last night I was looking at one, and it hopped off the glass of the sliding door and landed on my chin. I'm like, oh my God. Well, you don't say anything when you've got a tiny frog on your chin because it'll just crawl. And it did. It was heading right for my mouth. And I'm just, okay, you're out. That was delightful. That was a delightful moment. Find delight, my friends, because there is a lot to be delightful for. What we're living in right now is a temporary situation. I know that it's been 16 long, long, long months, almost 17. And yet in the span of things, it's short. What we're doing as a people globally is doing the best that we can to get through what will be, when we look back, a temporary situation. In the meantime, let's take the long view of who we are now, who we've always been, who we always will be, and take comfort in that. You're already on the journey. You're already at the destination. Today, tomorrow will be a new destination, as Jan said this morning. We're already there. Don't forget that you're at one point in the timeline of things. And so now, let's just take a moment to dwell in the heart of God. If we can bring the lights down just a bit. If you haven't consciously been with God in a while, now is a good time. And if you don't know what that looks like or feels like, it's okay. God does. The great divine already knows you, knows your heart, knows your thoughts and words before they rise to your conscious awareness. And if we think about the words, a journey into the heart of God, it's important for us to remember that we're already in the heart of God. The heart of God is already in us. The journey is in our own minds to become aware. Just become aware. Breathe. Just keep breathing. And notice how your mind will say, let's think about this instead or that instead. And the heart of God in you says, hold on a moment. We'll take care of that later. We're going to be right here, right now. And then you begin to notice that every breath you take, even as different as it is behind a mask, every breath that you take is a precious affirmation of life. And in your heart of hearts, just speak these words, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life. For the unique journey that it's been so far. For all the things that have broken me down and lifted me up. Thank you for this journey. And whatever greatness that I can rise to in that knowledge, I will do. And you see, beloved, you are so precious in the eyes of the divine that your greatest is between you and God, not determined by the constructs of humanity. So just relax into that. You see, for good or for bad, the great leveler is our common divinity. And it transcends our personal skills. It's demonstrated in them. But who we are is more than what we do. Who we are is even more than what we say. Who we are is eternal and wise. Who we are is blessed. Who we are has its own perfect imperfections. And we remember that we too are teachers. May our examples be good ones. May our blessings of the world be consistent. And if you feel that quiet peace and that quiet warmth, that's the heart of God right there, right there. Oh, beloved, don't forget. Don't forget. And for those of you who are joining us from afar, I reach my hands to you in solidarity, in knowing this truth with you. If you are beloved, you are family. You are God's own. And now another breath of release of anything that stands between you and the knowledge of God in this moment. For all of this, we are grateful, so grateful. And so it is. Amen.
in the heart of God. And I live in the heart of God. And I am in the heart of God. And I am in the heart of God.
Perfect. This is the time in our service when we have a chance to give back. As a part of our prosperity consciousness, we give where we're spiritually nourished. We're grateful for these gifts, and we know that Spirit is working through us to support all that is needed for our community and beyond. Let's take a moment to bring this truth into our hearts as we prepare our offerings and as our ushers come forward. As a reminder, there are 5 ways that you can share your gifts with Unity of Wimberley. You can text GIVE to the number on the screen. You can click the donate button on our website. You can mail a check to 455 White Wings Road, Wimberley, Texas, 78676. You can tap GIVE on our church app. Excuse me, and on Venmo, you can search for Unity of Wimberley and give that way. And now let us offer our affirmation of abundance together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Wow, we were getting a good jam going on there. Sorry we had to cut it short. I was kind of digging it. And so now, thank you, Richard. And now with our full hearts, let us bless these gifts together. We bless these gifts and the givers with our love and gratitude. And now as we move toward the end of the service, we'd like to take this moment to share a few things. First of all, let me say, excuse me, once again, thank you for wearing your mask today. We appreciate your compliance with our new protocol. Hopefully, it will be over soon. The Wise Women Gathering that was supposed to have happened yesterday, most of you saw the email that came out saying that it was postponed. Hopefully, we will have it next Saturday. We're just trying to put together the conditions for having it and get the reservation link together. So just keep an eye out for that in all the places that we post information. Join us next Sunday, July 25th, with my talk, Say What You Mean What You Say. This is a part of our, Kit is teaching a Zoom class in August on Wednesday nights of the 4 agreements. And so we're going to revisit that foundational staple in spiritual growth. You can order your book on Amazon if you don't already have it. And so next Sunday will be a talk that is part of that good work. We will continue to take reservations each Sunday in August, and that means starting next week, for our in-person limited seating services. The reservation link will be posted on our website and Facebook each Monday afternoon for the upcoming Sunday service. And those reservations do close at 5 p.m. on Saturday evening so that we can have our reservation sheets ready for the people who greet you at the door. Tune in to Facebook Live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. as Reverend Kit and I like to emphasize Reverend Kit, share readings, meditations, and affirmations. We are again accepting Feed My People donations, not only of the checks that you can send to the address on the screen, but also non-perishable food items that we're collecting here at the church. Please email any questions, concerns, or prayer requests that you have to either one or both of Kit and me at minister@unityofwimberley.com and asl@unityofwimberley.com. There's a reminder that blue prayer request sheets are on the back table. Yellow gratitude sheets are there for our gratitude jar. Our prayer chaplain, Jan, is available after the service to pray with you. If this is your first visit with us, or if your contact information has changed, please consider filling out a blue card on the visitors table in this foyer so that we may connect, reconnect, update, stay in touch with you. And so now let us stand together as we pray our prayer of protection. And this is good for us. Give yourself a good breath and a stretch. Yeah, there you go. And now together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Release and let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I really can't let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.